Here to talk to us about sales and marketing integration, let's welcome Detroit's own from SS Digital Media. Let's welcome to the stage Nick Skislak. Nick, come on up.
Hey guys, hello, how you doing? Everybody can hear me pretty good?
Yes.
Good deal. Doing a little test. Okay, cool. So, thanks for having me. I was just reminded, I think this is my 4th time attending. I think this is the 3rd time that it's been at Kobo, and I think before that it was at Fox. So I was here in the early days of digital. For the past 10 years, just to give you a quick background, for the past 10 years, I've been running a digital advertising agency in the Detroit area. And the last few years, it's got super exciting in this topic of sales and marketing. It's always been sales versus marketing, right? So really quick, before we get in, how many people do we have that are in the sales? Salespeople. Okay, how many marketing people? Here's problem number 1, right? So maybe less than a quarter of the room is salespeople. So all the smart marketing people come to these events and learn all the great things that they need to do to improve the business, essentially improve sales, but none of the salespeople show. So we don't get buy-in from any of our leadership guys or our sales teams because we're coming to events like this and learning, and they're not in it. They're not in the conversations. We're not integrated with them. So this is the battle, and the battle's been going on for centuries, right? Since the very beginning of commerce, I'm sure. The sales team says, leads that we get are useless. Marketing is sending us leads that are no good, they're junk leads. And then marketers say, sales team doesn't do a good job of following up with these leads. We're sending them leads, they're getting things, they just don't know how to close them. They're taking too long to respond. They're not answering emails quick enough. They're not responding to phone calls quick enough. So today, the businesses that I've seen make amazing moves, transformations, are the ones that are doing a really, really good job at integrating their sales and marketing teams. That is the future of what it is required to succeed in 2019. We have to integrate our sales and marketing teams, and we have to engage or include our leadership as it pertains specifically to digital. So the takeaways, what I want to do today, right side of the screen, understanding of today's buyers, the 5 things that all buyers have to know to make a purchase that us as marketers are super scared to talk about all the time. A video marketing campaign. Not enough video is being utilized at this time on the internet. Video is a must-have today, so we'll talk a little bit about that. And then I think what's super important, I think something that us as marketers challenge big time, a big challenge for us, is getting leadership to buy into this. Getting our CEOs and our COOs to buy into this idea of Facebook and Google and integrating sales and marketing and CRMs and email automation and all these things. So, this is this is the fundamental truth slide. So for us to be productive, this is the only thing that you have to agree with me on. If we can all agree on this, it'll make the rest of the presentation much more valuable, I think. And this is the buying cycle. And again, this is as old as commerce. Was here long before digital came around. This will be here long after digital is gone. And it's the simple idea of how we make a purchase decision. There's some sort of awareness that happens, and then we're put on some sort of list of consideration. So I have a few that I'm thinking about. We make a choice, we buy, and then we have some sort of post-buy experience. We want pizza for lunch. I go to Google, I see 4 pizza spots, who delivers, who's on sale, who's the closest, who's got the best reviews, whatever. I make a choice, I buy, and then if it's good pizza, I tell one person. If it's bad pizza, I tell my entire Facebook following. So that is what it is and always has been. So now we get into the funnel, right? The funnels, everybody's showing sales funnels. And then we don't know if we're calling it sales funnels or we call it marketing funnels. And we're not making the distinction of what we're supposed to do for each. So this is simply our buyer cycle, right? But it's put in a funnel form, starting with awareness. And for us, let's keep it in the context of digital, but let's keep it in the context of our sales and marketing funnel. Let's consider this the sales and marketing funnel. When you consider it the sales and marketing funnel, you're not just taking into account all the marketing efforts that you're putting forth, but you're also taking into account all the work the salespeople have to do to close the business and actually make a conversion. So very simply, I think today, if the dotted line can represent our customer journey, I think the industry, digital as a whole, we've done a bad job at, I think leadership specifically, thinks of digital as this like straight linear thing that's super easy. Hey, I want to get more business off of Facebook. Everyone else is. I want to get more business off of Google. We got to do Instagram. We got to do Pinterest. That's where all the customers are. That's how we're going to increase our sales. Well, what we're being told, and this is the promote this post for $5 right now. This is the Google promo of, hey, we'll give you $500 if you give us 100. It's really, and we're going to get you more customers from that. What we have to realize is those mediums, all this stuff, socially, Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, all that is the top layer of this funnel. It's only the awareness piece. When we start talking about action and engagement and conversion and advocacy, there's a whole lot of things that need to be done before an actual purchase happens. So I think us as marketers, and I think it's partly our fault, and I think because of the newness of the web, leadership has been slow to see this. We as marketers know it's a little more sophisticated than this, right? Like, that's what we're being sold, but us as marketers understand the customer journey is a little bit longer. There's frequency at play, right? There's multiple touch points at play. There's things where, hey, they do have to engage with our content a few times before they're going to buy from us. We're going to have a couple conversations with our clients. And depending on B2B, B2C, I can see this being very straightforward. It maybe is a little more linear if you're selling a $20 product on an e-commerce site. But if you're a B2B company looking to sign a 12-month, a 24-month contract for tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars, I'm pretty sure that engagement phase and that conversion phase include a lot of work. And if your marketing team doesn't understand that, or vice versa, it sets us up. So I think we're, as marketers, again, we do understand that frequency comes into play and it's not as linear, but this is what it is. And this is meant, it was really funny when I was putting this together. I had drawn this out and I had a designer put it together, and they did it the first time, and I said, hey, you guys, you didn't put in the dotted lines across in each tranche of the journey of the funnel. And they were like, yeah, it looks really ugly when we did that, and we didn't want to put it in. And I was like, well, that's kind of the point of this. That's what we're trying to show, is that there are multiple levels, and there's this thing that no one likes to talk about at the very top that's out of funnel. Meaning we paid for them to come in some way and they've left the conversation. So we have to bring them back in. So when you think about these, impression, action, engagement, conversion, advocacy, there are multiple tranches or levels within each of the phases in what we're trying to do with these customers. And what I'm seeing is, and I think, to add one more thing to that, there is holes in the sides of these funnels where people can fall out, right? We can have 2 conversations with someone, they can engage with our content for an hour and they could fall out of the funnel, and we don't. We're not out. Where we need to get better, and you as a company, in your own company, you need to come up with your own sales and marketing funnel and what that is, what that includes, step by step. I put this together as an idea, as a framework to move the wheels a little bit. Awareness to me is an impression to an ad. Okay? If someone sees my ad in Facebook or in Google or whatever, they just see the ad. In most cases, specifically on the web, it's a CPC relationship, right? So I don't really have to pay for impressions all that often. I only pay for the clicks. Action is them coming into our website. Okay? They're on our website, they're viewing our content. When you get into the engagement phase, well, now it takes a big change. When we get to the engagement and conversion level of your funnel, where typically we've been handing off leads to the sales team, right? That's the checkout spot. Hey guys, I'm the marketer. Hey guys, I ran a really good successful campaign on Facebook, really good campaign on Google, and I drove traffic to the website and they filled out the form. You guys got the form in your CRM. What'd they say? What'd they talk? Did you respond? They called? we're getting the leads. The majority of the work, and what does all this include in the engagement phase? Filling out a form, email subscription, download a case study, B2B, phone call 1 and 2, maybe even meeting 1 and 2 is still engagement. It's a marketing qualified lead. It's not a sales qualified lead yet, right? This could be, now this is salespeople working on the marketing side of the funnel in the engagement place. So the same creative that we're working on for case studies and for emails and to reach out to our audience, sales team has to be involved with that because they're doing work in the engagement side of the funnel as well. We're really, really quick as marketers to say, hey, this isn't going well. We need more money. Hey, if you guys want more leads, sales team, leadership, CEO, you guys want, because the CEO comes and says we need more sales from our marketing efforts. Well, if you want more sales, we need more impressions. Our thing, where we go, top of the funnel. You want to get more? Let's fill more people in the top of the funnel. What I want to get thinking about, where I've seen companies dominate in this way, is when they put pressure in this engagement and conversion area, or conversion spaces in this funnel. It's not always a game of trying to pour more people into the top. The game is convert more traffic up front. Okay, so the emphasis on the resources, the time. This is the landing pages. This is, and for us, I think in a lot of ways, as marketers, there's things that we want our consumers, there's things that we want our customers to care about, right? Been in business since 1983, family owned and operated, 100% customer satisfaction, been in Detroit since 2008. That's what we want our consumers to care about. Then there's what our consumers actually care about. And it was good because I think Chelsea Handler hit on this a little bit on the authenticity piece of what the internet is. And we'll talk about this a little bit more too when we talk about the videos. But if we're gonna play this internet game, if we're gonna play this digital game, we have to be honest, we have to be transparent. We have to answer the questions that our consumers care about the most. And these are the questions. And let me tell you this. This doesn't matter what industry you're in. This doesn't matter if you're a product or a service. This doesn't mean if you're a B2B or a B2C. This is what people care about the most. So, I am going to spend some time talking about the price. The number one people care about when they're looking for your products or our services is the price. And the number one, and you know, it's hard, especially when you're in the B2B environment, and I hear this all the time. Hey, we're not the cheapest, we don't want to show our price. Hey, you know, our pricing structure is really custom, we're a B2B, and you know, there's a lot that goes into our pricing, and everything that we do for our customers is custom, and it includes a lot of stuff, so it's hard for us to talk about the price. If that's the case, tell them. Maybe you can't, online, clearly define what your price is, but then you should talk about why you can't do that. What is the process like with working with you where it makes it really hard for you to talk about the price? See, we're all in this, and specifically with price, we're all worried about talking about price because we're worried about what our competitor is going to see it. Or, they're gonna see our price and they're gonna get scared. They can find out the price from you, or they can find out the price from a competitor. Or even worse, they can find out the price from you after your sales team has met with them 4 times. And they're not a fit from the beginning. Number 2, what are the problems associated with it? How does this product compare to others? What are people saying about it? And what's the best about it? Oftentimes, again, when you think about number 2, what are the problems associated with the product? We have a, and I'll use SSDM as a digital agency as an example. There are companies out there where you can make landing pages or SEO content for $25 an article. Well, SSDM content for that, it's like maybe $300 or $400 an article. So how do I explain? Well, you need to know when you come and talk to SSDig that this is the difference between a $250 article and a $30 article, and all the things that includes. Once, the biggest thing, when you start talking about problems associated or with the price, I love the example of going out to eat for a restaurant. So you're going out to eat, and what's the first thing you do is you go online and you research the restaurant that you're gonna go to, read some reviews if it's a new place, and look at the menu. You get to the restaurant, you sit down, and you see lobster is on the menu. And you see its market price. Now, if you're on a date, right, you're maybe a little nervous to ask about what the market price is for the lobster, because if you ask what the market price is for the lobster and you don't actually order the lobster, you're gonna look cheap. However, if you do order the lobster without knowing what the price is, you're in a very scared mode of, oh my gosh, what if this is like, treadmill trained lobster that has been massaged its whole life, that's like, $1,000 lobster. It's got nothing to do with what the market price is. It's setting that seed of doubt and making us really, really scared about moving forward with the decision. This is what the web is. It's total psychology. We don't care. I work with clients that are outpriced in their marketplace 500 to 1,000%. The most expensive products that you can buy. And the price has no determining factor in them creating a tribe and getting a group of people and doing really, really well at getting customers. People don't care what the price is. People fear what they don't know. People fear the unknown. This is the most basic thing. And by us not addressing, not the things that we care about as marketers, but what our consumers care about as buyers, that's the big hiccup. That's the big challenge. So I'm rushing here on time a little bit. So when you're doing this and you're thinking about us as marketers, I think a lot of the content that we're pushing out there on the internet, and I think this comes from a place where the internet is still young enough where I don't think we fully grasp how big it is. I don't really think we realize how much opportunity there is on the internet. So when us as marketers start marketing our companies, we want to do it in this like brandy, fluffy, like safe way. Like, oh, I don't want to say that because that might turn off so-and-so. Oh, I don't really want to mention that because our competitors do it this way. I'm saying that thing that we're trying to do to not commoditize ourselves on the web, by avoiding those issues and the things that our consumers really care about, we're actually commoditizing our businesses on the web. Like I said earlier, you have the opportunity to be the authority about your business and what your consumers care about, or they can go somewhere else to try to piece together the information. And what we do know is that you can come in as the authority on the things your consumers care about. It builds trust. And when you're able to build trust quickly, very quickly, you are able to get the call first. And if you get the call first, most of the time you get the piece of closed business. So a little test, something that you can take immediately back to the office and maybe make everybody upset, or maybe somebody buys into it. By 2019, 3 months from now, 80% of the content that we consume to make a buying decision is going to be in the form of video. And I talk to a lot of people, and this is small business, this is big business, all kinds of guys that want to come and they want to do campaigns, right? They want to do a Facebook campaign, they want to do a Google campaign. And I'm telling you, unless you're super niche and you're the only guy in your industry, if you don't have video in your campaign, you're making a huge, that's a big hurdle that you're going to have to get over that you probably won't get over. And no amount of money, no amount of eyeballs that you pour into the top of the funnel are going to help that. So what's the project? Basically, what we found was that when we went to sales teams and asked, hey, what percentage would you say of the questions that you're asked in your sales meetings are the same questions? And everybody pretty much said 80% of the questions they get asked by prospects are essentially the same questions. So, the sales team, and I get this, if you have a larger sales team and you got these guys that you gotta get going on appointments and you gotta rush them in there and hey, we gotta get these guys meeting with people and go, 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 go. We're going on all these appointments to answer the same 80% of questions that a video campaign can do. So the exercise, go back to the office, get with your sales team, ask them, what are the 5 to 12 questions that you get asked the most, and make a list. Then do a good job, record your top salesperson, your best on-camera salesperson, your worst on-camera salesperson. At this point, it doesn't matter. We're still in the phase where a lot of us still today can be the first to do this because everyone else is super scared to turn the camera on. There's a lot of kids out there, as Chelsea talked about it a little bit, a lot of people out there that are making a hell of a good living on Instagram just because they're not afraid to put the camera on themselves. And I know this is this is for me too. I didn't grow up in an environment where cameras were in our pocket. Cameras were for special occasions. We're now walking around, the amount of content. I'm having serious dialogue with our clients about what they can do to increase the output of content that they're creating. The companies that are crushing it today are the companies that realize that they're a media company first and their business, TVs, B2B product, widget, B2B service, whatever that is, second. Those guys that understand that we're now being evaluated on the amount of content that we're producing, because the really funny thing, my mom's been feeding, I'm old, married, and moved away, so my mom doesn't feed me anymore. But we had Jif peanut butter from the time I can remember. Something came out, I don't know, I didn't do a lot of research, but my mom read something about Jif, and it was no good. So she had Peter Pan peanut butter in the fridge when I went home the other weekend, brought the family home. The idea that our brand means something is much different than it was as little as 10 years ago. Because of the transparency that we are now required to give our consumers, the transparency our consumers are expecting us to do as companies to stick with them and continue to buy from them. So the amount of content that we have to produce now is going way, way up. And it's super important. So, reporting this to our CEOs and to our leadership, I think, and we've got like 5 minutes left. I think it's super hard for these guys. Like we were looking at that one slide with the straight line arrow down, like our leadership, and I'll talk some trash about CEOs because I can be a part, I am in the group of a CEO. And it's really easy, we all want this, right? We all want this like great report that says, hey, when you put $1 in, you get $1.75 out, right? We need to start talking about this with these guys in the right-hand side. Budget, lifetime customer value, visitor value, and cost per acquisition. Let this be the basis of the conversations that you're having when measuring the outcome of your digital marketing campaign. So at the beginning of a campaign, you can say, okay guys, we have $25,000. Our lifetime customer value, and we should know this, right, is $2,000, whatever that is in your business. They're gonna buy from us 4 times a year and spend $500 every time, so they're gonna be $2,000 lifetime customer value. Once we run a campaign, let's break this out. How many impressions did we get? Okay? How many visits did we get to our website from this? How many form fills that led to phone calls, that led to meetings, that led to closed business, and how much did we do in sales? This isn't gonna be perfect, right? This has got a lot of variables, but you have to start somewhere. Because once you can start framing this in and say, okay, we have a $2.70 visitor value, meaning every visit that comes to our website, as it sits today, is worth $2.70 to us. Well, now, us as marketers, if we start looking at cost per click data, and it exceeds $2.70, might not be a good deal for us, right? At the very highest level. Then, what you can ultimately know is the cost per acquisition. So you can go to management and say, hey, cost per acquisition is $625. We had a $2,000 sale and it cost us $625 to close. And your CEO is going to say, wow, that's amazing. Of which then, if he says, yeah, that's awesome, then you get more money. Then we have no problem getting more money. But if he says that's a problem and that's unacceptable and we need to get that to 525, instead of saying we have to increase our eyeballs, we got to increase our barrier to entry to improve these numbers, let's start thinking about putting more pressure in this area of the funnel, in the engagement conversion area. Let's start thinking about how we can do a better job earlier in the funnel process to answer the questions our consumers actually have about our product. Instead of thinking about this, and I got a couple like raised eyebrows when I've said this in the past, but instead of thinking about how we can generate more demand or how we can generate more eyeballs or generate more leads, think about from a marketing play how we can eliminate people. How can we get our message across where the wrong fit is going to know right away and not bother reaching out to us? Because I tell you this, if you get 100 leads a month, it doesn't matter, and let's say you're at a 1% conversion rate, it doesn't matter if you take your leads from 100 a month to 85 a month if you triple your conversion rate. We don't care, right? I think we get caught up too as marketers looking at this like CPC number or the CPM number, even worse, right? We're looking at these high level numbers to decide what kind of effectiveness we have on the company. We have to start looking at these cost per acquisition numbers. We don't care what we spend per lead at that point, right? If it was a cost per acquisition cost of $625 and we were closing 90% of the appointments that we went on, that'd be great. So thinking about this moving forward, think about your funnel in this way. Come up with your own definitions for what you do in your funnel. Don't see these like macro numbers and be falling into all these like old school digital quantifications like CPC and impression share and your cost per 1,000 impressions and how much traffic are you getting to your website. Let's start focusing in on this engagement portion. And what is the engagement portion? It's content. And who's got the best idea of what that content should be? Our sales team. Our sales team should know. They're having the intimate conversations with our prospects. We're just talking, us as marketers, we're just talking about how great we are. Let's pull up some of that intimate, tough to talk about, scared to talk about content and put it up in our advertising. What if we had our ad on our price? What if our ad campaign was all the companies that we're not a good fit for? What if our ad campaign was, here's the problems with our product? That of weeding people out to hone in the message. Know who we're talking to. That's going to be the future of the web. That's the importance of this. I strongly, strongly believe that we are now media companies first. We are media companies first, and the guys that are really crushing it are the guys that are doing a great job with their sales team. So if you like this, if you're buying into this, we did get a booth outside. If you're looking for a job, we'd love to talk to you. And if you want to hear more, Twitter, text, email. I appreciate you guys. Thank you. Have a wonderful summit.
All right, keep it going for Nick Skislak, everyone. All right, we take about a 15-minute break. Next sessions will start promptly at 20 after. We'll see you very shortly.